2 minutes. All right, so let's start. Hi, Vixel.
Hi.
Oh, okay, excellent. All right, so let's start the meeting. I will follow the agenda that we always. So today it's Wednesday, December 2nd, 2020 at 7:03 p.m. The meeting will now call to order. The meeting is conducted via a virtual meeting only. Would you kindly post the link, Robert, so that everybody can see?
It has been posted already.
The
Rochelle,
screen is posted already?
The link
No.
is on the agenda, and the agenda has the link to live stream and for public comment.
Excellent.
So,
All right.
just as a correction from last time, and I apologize, this was my fault, Van Land. You don't need to read the entire link for the public comment. Just the
Yeah, I
text.
appreciate that because it's really hard,
Yeah,
right?
no problem.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward too. But anyway, so let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I would like to invite Commissioner Kavita to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Sure. Okay. Should we stand up? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Let's do a roll call. I would like to read the name and yeah, just usual. Commissioner Ashit Katapuka,
Yes, here.
great. Commissioner Oscar Leon,
here.
Commissioner Thelma Padillo,
Here.
Commissioner George Chang,
Here.
Commissioner Vissel Gandhi,
Here.
Commissioner Kavita Shredder,
Here.
Commissioner Gilroy Casanova,
Here.
Commissioner Jose Rosario. So hopefully he can join us later. He usually call in. All right. So then we have one absent. So should we sitting the alternate, Robert? That would be Kavita, right?
Alternate number 1 is actually Commissioner Casanova.
Oh, Commissioner Casanova. Okay, I'm sorry, Kavita. So we would sit Commissioner Casanova today. Thank you. Let's move to the number 5 of the agenda. We need to approve today's agenda, but before the meeting, before we approve it, I would like to ask if anyone have any item to play on the agenda. If not, may I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I move to, my motion is to adopt the agenda.
Thank you, Oscar.
I
Second,
second it. This is
thank you
Vishal.
so
I
much.
second it.
Thank you very much. So move that that the agenda be adopted. Let's move to item number 6.
No, you need to vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've always
You just
forgotten.
vote.
You have to vote. Yeah. So let's vote. All in favor? Say aye.
You have to do it one by one.
Roll call.
Oh, roll call again. Okay. Sorry, I keep forgetting. Okay, so I'm gonna do quick, okay? Ashi,
Yes.
thank you. Oscar,
Yes.
Thelma,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Vixel? Vixel?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't hear you. Kavita?
Yes.
Oh, Gilroy?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So, so now we adopt the agenda. Let's move to the approval of the minute from previous meeting. That would be November 4. May I have a motion to adopt the minutes? Did you have a chance to read it?
I have a motion to adopt the minutes. Chairwoman, don't forget, unfortunately, Commissioner Cavita cannot vote at this point.
Yes.
She's present, so you don't need to ask for her vote.
I'm sorry, Kavita.
Right.
That will be your time, I'm very sure. All right, well, thank you, Oscar, very much. Any second?
Second.
Thank you. So we move that the agenda be adopted. So let's vote again. Again, I try to be quick. Achi,
Yes.
Oscar,
Yes,
Thelma,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Witzel.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So there we have it. Let's move to the.
1 second.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
So let's move to item number 7, which is public forum. Were there any public comment, Robert?
Thank you, Chair. There are no public comments at this time.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Let's move to item number 8 on our agenda. Is there any announcement?
Yes, there is one announcement. The city staff will be hosting a webinar tomorrow at 2 p.m. with Empower Santa Clara County. So the county will be doing what offers is a down payment assistance for first-time homebuyers.
Oh,
And so we are partnering with them so that we could spread the word to Milpitas residents who are looking to buy their first home and could possibly qualify for the down payment assistance. The down payment assistance is actually quite substantial. It offers a 17% down with the buyer adding the additional 3%. And there are very favorable terms for potential homeowners. So we will be speaking to them. Sarah and I will be speaking to them about not only the potential to buy a home in Milpitas, but also the below market rate housing program as well, just to sort of supplement, something that the city has to provide. Unfortunately, for all you listening, the home buyer program only works for fair market homes. It does not work for our below market rate program. But just so everybody knows, we'll be talking about both. So we'll send out a flyer to you later this evening, and then we hope that if you have an opportunity to maybe post it on social media or email it to a friend or somebody you know might be interested, we'd love to have them on the webinar.
so wonderful program. Thank you for letting us know. It's great. So just send to us. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Chair.
Well, this
Chair.
is not the announcement, but I just received the email from the city manager that the chief of police will retire by December 30th of this year. That's really a big surprise, but maybe we should find a way to thank him.
We also have to announce that our city clerk will be retiring at the end of this year as well.
Who?
Mary Lavelle.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes.
wow.
And she mentioned to me last week that she is the longest tenured city clerk in Milpitas history. So she will be deeply missed.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So Mary and the chief, right? So that too. All right. Thank you so much, Robert. Let's move to item number 9.
1 second, Chair.
Yes?
We have a new person in the Zoom. Identify only with a phone number.
That could be Jose.
I don't know.
No?
But that person needs to identify himself or herself.
I'm not entirely sure, but that might be Sharon.
Oh. Okay, should we ask, or
I-
I mean, we should welcome them anyway, right? Hello?
Sharon,
Are
is
you
that-
looking at
Hello,
the number?
this is
under
Rochelle.
attendee?
This is Rochelle. That phone number is Commissioner Leon. Oh, Commissioner Rosario. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
we monitor who's on the attendees.
Thank you very
Right.
much, Rochelle.
Hi, Jose. Can you hear us? Jose?
he might not, he might just be on mute. I'd say, please proceed.
Oh,
Chair.
okay, great. All right,
Okay.
so welcome, Jose.
Okay.
we-
Yes.
Excellent. So we are now on item number 9, city liaison report. 9A is for Vice Mayor Bob Nunez, and I've learned from Robert that he will be absent tonight. So let's move to.
Oh, I have listened from the start, and yeah,
Oh.
I've been listening ever since the start of the meeting. Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jose.
All right.
So,
Okay.
item B of number 9, city staff report.
Nothing to report, Chair. Thank
Nothing
you.
to report. All right. So let's move to item number 10, our business item today. Obviously, we will talk about the Safety First community event with Milpitas Unified School District. We will now report to all of you, to the CAC commission tonight. So I will start the report first at the chairperson of the subcommittee, and then Commissioner Vitsal Gandhi will report his part, and then we also have Commissioner Kavita Shredar, who is also a member of the subcommittee, to report. So let me begin. On November 19, 2020, a member of the National Night Out Subcommittee met to discuss about the Safety First event proposed by the Milpitas Unified School District, or the MUSD. Stakeholder presented including Vice Mayor Bob Nunez, Vice President of MUSD Board, Chris Norwood, and Sergeant Jason Speck, presented on behalf of Chief Armando Cobus of the Milpitas Police Department. I would like to give you a brief summary of the subcommittee meeting, and I will try my best to give you all that I know and recorded at that meeting. So the MUSD felt strongly about having the Safety First event moving forward. The following are some of the main items which were discussed regarding the event. Number 1, the purpose of the event is to create a safest city possible during COVID-19 pandemic. Safe city, safe business community, and safe school. Number 2, about the speaker. Speaker will identify such as Dr. Cody, a public health officer of Santa Clara County. She is an expert to provide accurate information to the public, and Milpitas Chief of Police Armando Cobus on public safety issue. Number 3 was day and time for the event. These were given to us by the MUSD between January 11 to the 22nd of 2021 at 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. or in the spring of 2021. Number 4 was the meeting logistic and technology. It will be in charge by MUSD, and in addition, Vice President Norwood says some of the number for the event as follow. He proposed that the event will have a desired Zoom host of 750 to 800 hosts And the Zoom participant per host between 15, 25 to 25 people, and the total risk goal of 20,000 residents. So number 5, about promotion and the outreach, including obviously MUSD, Milpitas CAC, Milpitas Police Department, Milpitas Fire Department, Milpitas Citizen Action Preparedness Commission, Youth Commission, Milpitas community-based organization, and other. So the list was long, but mostly was a community-based organization. So last but not least, I would like to remind all of us, all of you, the member of the CAC, and all stakeholders that the proposed Milpitas Safety First event is not on the CAC approved work plan. And issues such as budget implication, budget allocation, etc., will have to be approved by the city council in order to move forward. And that I have checked with Sharon, Robert, and I'm sure they checked with the city attorney about the rule of our city. So personally, I think the Milpitas Safety First event is ambitious, and the scale of this event is gigantic. It's really huge. It will take a lot of work for the time frame that the MUSD have proposed. It is December. We have lived through the past 10 months of the most challenging time with the pandemic since March of this year. We are now going backward with the increase of the COVID-19 cases, and with a purple tier, and then the curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. and the possibility of returning to remote learning again for the student, and the school may or may not remain closed. However, despite of our current reality, I am, as you are, all hopeful for a brighter future when life go back at normal again. So with that, I would like to invite Commissioner Vissel Gandhi to give his summary report. Vissel, are you there? Vissel, you have the mute on.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Trung. I think you have very well captured all the summary of all the discussion we had during that meeting. I would like to add to just that yes, as you mentioned, that the way they mentioned about the timeline and the outreach that needs to be done for that timeline, it's a gigantic effort. Means it requires a lot of coordination and other things. So we would be looking at city to see it tell us that how we can basically support that initiative, since it requires much more effort outside of this commission. So I would just probably add to that, and just that's all I had basically.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Commissioner Kavita Shredder.
Thank you, Van, and also Vishalji, for the pretty much both of you covered everything. I think the only a question that came up was whether there was willingness on behalf of CAC commissioners and also on behalf of all the other stakeholders to put this together. That was one of the biggest questions that Vice President Norwood had. The numbers, although they seemed ambitious, they are pretty doable. I mean, I think they envisioned that it would be, we would recruit about a good number of several hundred hosts or moderators who would in turn recruit 10 or 15 people and host those breakout rooms or would host those sessions for the National Night Out. But there were no just from my perspective, there wasn't a very clear understanding. It was a brainstorming session as to how this would work. And again, at the end of the day, it was up to us to decide whether we would be involved and how would we be involved in this particular Safety First campaign. And I think the next steps, they were going to send out an email. I'm not sure if Van has heard anything thus far with regard to what the next steps are.
Thank you, Kavita. I have not received any email. You mean from MUSD, right? Yeah, I haven't received anything from Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you so much. I think your comments are really good. So right now, let's open to the rest of our CAC member. Let's start our discussion to see how you feel about that. You know, you just yeah, just share what you think about the Safety First event and how we can participate or support the MUSD. Oscar?
My comment would be that I support 100% this event. It's a matter of looking for coordination. I know that it's very ambitious, but we need to see ourselves as just one element of the two crucial stakeholders of this event, the city, and that includes the police department and the city in general, as well as the Milpitas School District. The decision of happening or not happening should not rely on us. Our position should be of supporting completely, that's my perception or my point of view, supporting this event. And our role will be that one. But the two main elements of these events should be the school district and the city. Personally, I prefer the timeline in January based on the disponibility of the police department, but that should be left to the two main stakeholders to me. I don't think so that the decision of having it should be based on us. The decision of supporting should be based on us.
Great. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Ashik?
Yeah, I think first of all, thank you for the summary here and all the work that you guys have done prior to coming to this meeting. I do tend to agree that the timelines were aggressive from the beginning to pull this off. If you have to push it out and make that recommendation to MUSD to push the event out to next year, who knows what next year is going to look like in January or February based on how COVID shapes up here. So I'm all for supporting the event, but that support needs to be then defined as what exactly is the role for CAC here. Are we going to be the primary torchbearer for the event, or the primary torchbearer would be MUSD and they do everything and we sort of support it, but they are the primary torchbearers. So I think an outcome for this, for today's discussion, if we can get to that, is at least some sort of a resolution from CAC to say, A, we are going to support it, and what does that support look like? And B, we don't seem to be either comfortable with the timeline and then suggest what that new timeline would look like. Would be a good outcome for today.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Mitchell?
Yeah, so I just wanted to add to something to what Commissioner Kathapurkar said. So the timeline wise, it's not happening this year. The way they mentioned to us that it would be planned sometime in first quarter of the 2021. So either in January or post January. That's the way they were basically thinking about it. So
We are in December, so we're talking
Right.
about a month or 2 months away.
right. So no, I think Commissioner Kathapurkar thought that we were. I think there was initial was that they wanted to do it in December, but in the meeting they mentioned that they can't do it in December. If they wanted to do it before the Christmas holidays, but it seems that they can't do that. So I think they pushed out the timeline to January and onwards.
Mhm.
And again, I think as Commissioner Kavita mentioned, it was just a brainstorming thing. So I was going to check with basically either Robert or Sharon that if they've got any updates from that meeting, after that meeting, from a city perspective, that if city has made any moves or things like that.
Thank you for that question, Commissioner. So at this time, as you may or may not know, the City Council through Vice Mayor Nunez was going to discuss this exact topic. So from a city's perspective, and obviously through the course of this meeting, we believe that we should be prepared to hear the direction of the City Council as to how this should proceed. That has always been my understanding of how this event would ultimately come about. But at this time, we have not heard anything from either MUSD or the Vice Mayor, other than, they were going to discuss it at last night's City Council meeting. But unfortunately, the Vice Mayor got sick and he left the meeting early. So it did not get discussed last night, but it will be pushed to a future agenda item. I'm just not sure at what time or what date at this time.
Thank you, Robert, very much. So then we discussed today, and we try to come up with our own decision, and then that will be reported back to the City Council, and then the City Council will make the decision, right?
Unmute. There we go. I would say that tonight you will be discussing, the feedback from the subcommittee meeting, getting the rest of the commissioners' input, and then, ideally the Vice Mayor would be here to hear that information and then use that as part of the discussion at City Council. So what we will do is, we will best prepare a way to summarize the notes that you've taken and all of the other commissioner input, so that the Vice Mayor can understand the CAC feedback for this particular event, and then obviously for him to decide how to present it at the City Council meeting.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Kavita?
So Robert or Sharon, Vice President Norwood presented a document he shared on screen that day. Is it possible to share that document with the rest of the commission today? So they could get an idea as to what was discussed. Do you have access to that?
Unfortunately, I do not have access to that document.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, sorry. I just wanted to see if they could take a look at what was discussed in that meeting. I know one of the things that they talked about was bringing experts or speakers from different departments, and also to bring Dr. Sarah Cody as one of the speakers for that particular event and how that would work. And one idea that was suggested was that the CAC commissioners would in turn be the group of hosts, also a part of that group of hosts for their Zoom meetings or the breakout sessions. That was one of the things that was discussed that day. Just want to add that.
Right. Okay. We'll take note of that, Kavita. Thank you. Oscar?
Yes, thank you for all the work all of you have done. At this point, my perception is that um, the CAC Commission should decide our role of supporting, our position of supporting the event, and presenting that to Vice Mayor so he can take it to the City Council, and the conversation between the city and the school district will decide the way that is going to work regarding the timeline and how it's going to be done, with the understanding that having somebody like Dr. Cody will be an amazing asset to looking at this event. So I believe that should not be in our hands if we're going to do it or not. In our hands should be only if we are going to support it or not. That's my understanding. And I have expressed clearly my position regarding that.
Well, Sharon, Robert, can we all just keep discussing the issue, and in the end, we will do a summary of all the point at our decision?
My apologies, Chair. So I was just alerted that IT actually does still have access to the document that Commissioner Sridhar was asking about. So we have the ability to share it if you would still like us to share that document.
All right. Do you all want to see the document right now?
Yes, and if it's possible, can we have that on the email, please?
Okay. So
So Commissioner Van, should I just summarize
yes.
what the document? Okay. So basically, I think what do you call Mr. Norwood from MUSD basically just came up with this document, which is kind of outlining his vision, that how he likes to see the event occurring. So basically mentions the dates, basically that when it can happen, as well as basically he mentioned that all the groups, including the city groups as well as the neighborhood groups, associations, and Chamber of Commerce and other organizations within the city can participate or can join that event. So that way we have a larger participation. And also the way Commissioner Sridhar mentioned is that the number of hosts that he likes to see, and like kind of the Zoom participant per host, and the goal that she mentioned, and kind of she just provided a timeline that how the meeting should go about, like probably start with the keynote speakers, then you basically go out to the break rooms, and where you meet from different people, like so you have a break room with police chief, another break room with Dr. Sarah Cody, another break room with emergency preparedness, and those kind of things, and another break room with MUSD, kind of. And he just provided a timeline that how we can do those breakouts, and that at the end of the meeting have some contest, so that people can join, like whoever joined they can participate all and things like that. And the next thing I think you mentioned is that what action items wise, that what is needed. So like who would be a overall coordinator or overall manager of the effort, who will be like what are the names of the speakers and how to secure them, and how to registration site, like would they, and such things information. So he did mention that MUSD should be able to handle such registration or site kind of, but he was also open for suggestions, including if Milpitas city can handle such things or not. So that was up for discussion, kind of open discussion, I would say. All the things which is mentioned in the below, like all the Zoom webinar that how we'll host and all that, which was basically all those things were open for discussion. So
Thank you, Vitso.
Sure.
Vitso, that was excellent. But as I remember when we're talking about the registration and the you know the technical part of it, the capacity, if we realistic looking at the police department, Sergeant Speck will mention that they don't have the capacity. As far as the city, I think Sharon or Robert will also share with us. So that's why I keep asking the same question about the technology, technical part of it. And Mr. Norwood said that the school have the capacity and he will take care of it.
Okay. Yeah, because he just mentioned that he gave those example of conferences, right? The virtual conferences, that how they're being handled.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was again. I'd like to reiterate that I think that meeting seemed more of a brainstorming meeting as to how to collaborate and how to make this happen. And if there was synergy in the intent of making this happen. So Vice President Norwood said that the school has the ability to host that many sessions in classrooms, which are simultaneously happening. So they already probably have the technical ability to host it. But at the same time, he also mentioned that they need to look at the different elements of, whether it should be hosted as a conference, whether they would be breakouts, and they need to look at the technical angle as to who can help with regard to this. Should they be, and also the people who are going to host it, would they need to undergo technical training as to how to host it and how to moderate each of the rooms and things like that. So those are some of the, if you look at the bottom of that email, what kind of content needs to be created, who are going to be the hosts, who are going to be the keynote speakers, how do we secure them, all that was mentioned. Those are things that were being typed up as action items. I hope that makes sense.
So what do you think, Thelma, George, Jose, Gilroy, those of you that have not spoken yet, please share your thought on this.
Ben, this is Jose.
Yes.
I agree with the proposed event, and I'm willing to support and participate in this event when it is decided to push through. But where will be the venue of this event, just in case?
I'm sorry, Jose. What you say? The last sentence?
Where is the venue?
Oh,
if it will be pushed through.
It's through Zoom, right? Everything will be virtual meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So whatever the decision is, I will participate and support
I see.
it.
Oh, thank you, Jose. Thank you. So I see the Vice President Chris Norwood is here. Welcome. You have your mic mute. Okay, great. So I'm glad you are able to join us. We were talking about, huh?
Kavita was doing just fine. I was listening.
Thank you, Chris. But we thought it would be helpful if the commission got to hear from you. If there's been any progress, have you had a chance to flesh the ideas out more with your team as well at MUSD? If you could share, if the chair is okay with it.
I like to keep the flow of the meeting going while everyone provides their feedback, and then I can give an update from my side.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, I was asking the rest of the CAC member, there are few commissioners that didn't get a chance to speak yet. So I would like to hear from Commissioner Chang, Commissioner Batillo, and Commissioner Casanova.
Hi, Van.
Yes.
I think I'm still pretty confused about how do you conduct this event. So if you want to reach out 20,000 people, and then the Milpitas School District has the capability. So why do you still need those 600 or several hundred individual hosts?
George, I think that's an excellent question. I think that I'm hoping that Chris will be able to answer that question for you. Vice President Norwood, you hear the question, right? Hello, are you there? Yes.
I've taken note of that question, and I'll be prepared to respond to it at the appropriate time.
Vice Chair.
Yes.
I think, George, basically is when we go to break rooms, and there are going to be different rooms, that's where when the co-hosts are needed for dealing with the rooms, the break rooms. The break rooms, I believe it's stated over there, the number of members that they would like to have. Not a huge number, but something that within 10, 20, I can't remember exact number. But that's the reason why if you divided 800 people into 10 or 15, you are going to need 60, 80, or a number or so of co-hosts. That's my understanding. Kavita.
Did you call my name, Oscar?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Was it to address what Commissioner Chen just asked us? Oscar, is that what it was? You're muted. Sorry.
Just to double check if I kind of expressed what the idea was.
Yes. Commissioner Chen, I think the idea of having that many hosts is because currently it's the teachers who host those classrooms, and it's not necessary that the teachers are the people who are going to run the National Night Out here. So the idea is to host, train and find, first of all, recruit and train as many hosts for hosting these individual breakout rooms as part of the National Night Out, because it's going to be done simultaneously, or it could be done on separate days. That was another idea that was discussed. Not everything done synchronously at the same time. Does that make sense? Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I have further questions. So now, those co-hosts, what kind of, they're gonna deal with unknown type of questions. So how can the co-host conducting handling a break room has the knowledge and the bandwidth to handle that break room's event?
I'm just going to venture my guess here, very educated guess. Because what was discussed was all the hosts are going to be trained ahead of time as to how to moderate that particular room. And I think the idea is to have keynote speakers that will toggle from room to room. And there'll be a panel of speakers that'll go from room to room where people can ask questions. So I think that was the idea behind it. But then again, it all needs to be fleshed out. Again, it was just a brainstorming session, but that's how they envisioned it, that there would be a moderator for each room, or somebody who would be a co-host for that room and who would keep the flow of topics going. for people to discuss. I guess that's the way they've envisioned it. But again, they're relying heavily on our input as well, for us to collaboratively work together and figure out what works. I mean, and Vice President Norwood, please chime in anytime. I could be wrong. I'm not.
No, absolutely. And I believe I heard the question was, how would the Zoom room facilitators field questions that they don't have answers to, or field questions that they may not be prepared to field? Is that the question?
That's one of them. Yeah, I think that's the most critical.
Yeah.
Why is that most critical?
Because the co-host, it doesn't have any knowledge or bandwidth, so that break room essentially it go nowhere.
So your concern is that if the co-hosts aren't trained accordingly, that the event won't work, or one or more of the Zoom rooms will not be successful?
I think possible. Because this is a very broad subject, and you
bring up a great point. It is a very broad subject, and the reason why I am here with the CAC is for the opportunity for this committee to help frame what the subjects are around, because there wasn't a national night out. And if you reference to the training that the hosts of National Night Out have, in comparison, you have the opportunity to see the possibility if for a number of years, with my neighbor down the street hosting and me being a co-host, and knowing what was asked of him to do the National Night Out, and knowing what the experience was, and knowing that no two National Night Outs were the exact same, because each neighborhood has their own concerns. Each neighborhood wants to be able to build relationship for the safety of the community. There will be some information that is general, and then there will be some information that should be unscripted if you want to get a chance to know your neighbors, that the hosts will get a chance, or the appropriate commission, or even the police or fire, so that they have a better understanding of the city or what's going on with the neighborhoods. And that brings back to the point of why such scale, and why not allow the school district, why not the school district to do it on its own? We're doing this already with our parents, with our teachers, and with our students, but we are only 25,000 or so of the city. We are a city of 70,000 plus. And for us to expand beyond the scope of the school district so that we can have the safest city, the safest schools possible, is why this idea in terms of partnership was brought to the CAC.
Thank you, Mr. Norwood.
Delma, you have any question, any comment, Delma?
Yeah, same with the previous commissioners. We're 8 strong, or 7 commissioners strong, and we would look to the MUSD and the city. If they are going to proceed with it, then certainly I'd like to be able to support them as well. At this time, we kind of wait for their action, and if they decide whatever it is, I think at this time for our commissioners, would you like to ask again the same question is, you know, to motion that if this indeed goes through next year, whenever that is, whatever that is, what kind of form it is, we're willing to give whatever support we can give. But as everyone know, is the limitation of you know, our bandwidth as far as who we are as a commission, and all of it is just you know, we can't do our regular face-to-face with people. So this is a great event. It's really a great vision, and it's a need for the community,
And I'd like to add,
safety, and that will be great. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I think one of the things that I've learned, not being extremely familiar with how commissions work, is that the biggest concern that I've heard is the responsibility of each of you as individuals in terms of your responsibility, your bandwidth, your roles. And the thing that I've noticed through with Kavita and also Oscar being a principal and running a school, so having to communicate with large groups of people with a within a context, and Kavita from the work that she does in radio and community and other things, they have a slightly different lens in terms of we don't own everything that has to be done. We don't have to be every place at once. And it's very difficult for me to explain that that is the case. This is, your group gets together and constantly talks about the community. You get together and talk about things that are possibly needed. And it is that expertise, that insight, your understanding of city government, and the ability to speak to other agencies is where your value comes in the context of the commission. I've already noticed, even at the last meeting, to have the police department from National Night Out, to have the chief communications officer. My dog wants a snack. Hey, can I just have my meeting and I'll give you a snack in a minute? Okay, so we'll go get him a snack at the same time. The fact that you guys have that relationship with the city commissions and everything else, that's where the value lies. It doesn't lie in your ability to do everything, because we've already heard back from the fire department. Oh, you know what? I'll hold that last part until everyone else speaks, so then I can give an update in terms of the process. Who has not? Who else needs to?
Commissioner Casanova.
Hello here.
Yes.
So since we're going to do the event through Zoom, and if MUSD and the city approve it, then I'm for the event, as it's good for the community, and it'll be able for people to interact with each other in our small town. So I'll also participate as well.
Thank you. Well, Mr. Norwood, I think this would be the best time for you to explain more about the technology part of the plan and the timing.
Sure. I'll start with this. Since the last meeting, I have learned that both the fire department and the police department do very similar events on a much smaller scale. They host meetings, they have Zoom rooms with community members in a very generic way, getting updates on what's going on in neighborhoods. disseminating information from the police department, from the safety department. So there are a number of people, and then the city staff is also very familiar with hosting webinars, and then in some instances doing Zoom rooms. So there's a lot of knowledge out there on the city side as well. In addition, in reaching out to some community groups that I know that are on social media and doing a number of other things, there is a large population in the city of Milpitas that is actually trained through the time on how to do this. So there is a large understanding of the utilization of the technology that spans across languages and socioeconomic backgrounds, because Zoom or these types of meetings are now a necessity. And with the fact that there's a reasonable possibility that there may be a new shelter-in-place order that may be occurring in a reasonable amount of time, ironically, the shelter-in-place order is for the county as a whole. If you take Milpitas as a microcosm, we wouldn't necessarily have to do a shelter-in-place because of our data and our case rates. So they're looking at the county as a whole. But if you take Milpitas by itself, we are doing an excellent job in terms of our safety. But because there are people that travel in and out of Milpitas, because there are people that travel through Milpitas and a number of other things, we are part of a bigger picture. So I want to also make sure that that is in the conversation as well. And as we talk about the technology, it will be determined by the plan is with the MUSD IT leadership in terms of the city IT leadership to determine what will be the best method to conduct in this type of event on scale, to ensure, because when you involve government entities and municipalities, you have to make sure that you take care of the legal aspects, the liabilities, and those types of things around the technology. So right now you have city council meetings and you also have school board meetings that are conducted in such a way. So getting those logistics taken care of on the legal side is where a lot of my attention is going, to make sure that all of our T's are crossed and our I's are dotted. There is conversation about having Dr. Cody speak to Milpitas specifically, examine our data as far as one of the keynotes, and then talking about what communities can do and what their needs are in terms of the breakout rooms. So you guys the last meeting did inspire some additional conversation about why would people want to be involved in this event, to have the level of awareness. I appreciated what one of the commissioners said, is that we are a small town, so we do have the ability to do something that San Jose could never do, or other cities could never do. That's what makes us Milpitas. So circling back to your question, depending on what the outcome of this meeting was going to be, was going to allow me to understand what my next steps were going to be. Whether it was going to be the school districts working solely with PTAs across the district, or we were going to get a chance to possibly end community groups that we know in the city, or were we going to get a chance to work with the city in partnership with the CAC?
Vice President Norwood, I just would like to remind you again that we at the CAC Commission, whatever decision that we make at the Commission, we still have to report to the City Council via our liaison with the Vice Mayor Bob Nunez. Unfortunately, he's absent today because he didn't feel well. So then we still need to wait for the city council to discuss about the project, about this event before we move forward or do anything. I hope you understand the
Sure.
legal aspect of it. Yes, Oscar.
No, I think there is a misunderstanding here.
Okay.
We are not in the position, and that's not what is being asked or what our role should be. We're not deciding if it's going to happen or not. What we should decide if we are going to support an event of this nature, to work closely with the city, whatever decision the city takes. If the city takes a decision of supporting this event with the school district, we already know that we are going to be behind. If the city decides not to host it or be part of, we don't have a role because we are part of the city. So our position here right now is if we are going to support it in whatever our capacity. As an advisory, that's what CAC is. We are not doers, we are advisory. So our advice will be to support or not support this event. Once that is decided between the legalities or the formality or the scenario between the district and the city, our role will be to support it in whatever our capacity is. We are not going to be able to be part of the 700 or 70 or 60 co-hosts, but some of us, we can contact more people or more agencies that can support those hosts. It's like having, as Mr. Norwood mentioned it, hosting a national night out. We are just the host. We can be part of the host of the national night out. The ones who are going to speak, the ones who are going to talk, are not going to be us. We're going to host it. That's why in a national night out, the police goes, the different agencies comes to the different meetings, and they will talk, and we just facilitate in our own capacity. And because this number is much bigger of the 20 or so that we were able to do before, our role is to be just a seed for all those numbers that the city, Milpitas Police Department, Fire Department, and the school district is going to look for agencies that can be part of a host, being co-hosts, the ones who are going to be in charge of working with the break rooms. I see my role or our role to be just a co-host when they are the breaking rooms. In that also, our role as commission is to help send the word, spread the word out that this event is happening whenever the decision is from the city and the school district, that this event is happening, and we can be promoters, one of the promoters for this event.
Well, thank you so much, Oscar, for your clarification. I agree with you on every point that you were saying. I think we already said that we would support the project if we understand clearly or define our role clearly at a supporting group to the project. Personally, I feel that we need to iron out a lot of detail because the plan, the vision, as it is present to us, is need to be thought out so much more in detail. Let's say if we have a skeleton right now, where's the meat? How do you put it all together? Who will do that? And who will commit to it? Before you even, tempted to play the role. At first, I agree that we can be promoter of the event. We can help out with co-hosts, with a lot of training in such a short time over the holiday that we have. Yeah, we can do all of that if we decided at a group, and if the city of Milpitas, the city council is approved and moving forward with this project. Because we don't have budget. We are it. We're not staff. We just a volunteer. I've always know that. So I just want to be very clear on our role. That's all there is to it.
We have to understand there are two ways of building, of construction when you want to do a building. One is to have everything in place, and then you start doing it. In some cases, when they are emergencies, when the need is such, is also another way of making the project is having all the different parts working together and develop some of the changes and different parts as they come. So that's what is very important in many cases. You work around, and while you are planning, you are moving forward. You don't need to have everything completely lined up before we start. So, and usually that is a system that is done when the timeline, the necessity is such that you cannot wait until you have spelled out completely a plan. In emergencies, fires, earthquakes, you cannot wait until you have everything ready in order to happen. My apologies, I will stop talking from there. I have Kavita wants to talk.
I just my 2 cents, Chair. If I think just in the interest of time and also in the interest of moving this along, I think if it's possible for the commission to all the commissioners to discuss if we're all on board. I think everybody is supportive of the idea, and then we would basically work with the MUSD and the City Council. I think they're going to put together a task force, and there would be certain members of this commission who would probably be involved in that, and we would further take flesh out how this would work, and then maybe that would be a discussion that we would bring up. If this is going to happen in January, then I'm not sure what the timeline is, but I think that is where we're looking at, because nobody has exact idea as to how it's going to work. It's still nebulous, but the idea is to see if we're all in agreement that yes, we will support this initiative, then the next steps would be to sit together with the city and the school district to figure out how to make it happen. Yes. Just my 2 cents.
Any other comment? I just would like to remind you we at 8:11 p.m. So we 11 minutes past the time. So would like to hear more from you so that we can closing this meeting.
I want to present a motion. I want to present a motion of supporting the initiative of having this event and to work closely with the city and the Milpitas Unified School District on whatever the plan is. We will be supporting. That's my motion.
Right. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Jose. So then let's vote on it. So I'm gonna call each one of you to vote. Ashi,
Yes.
thank you. Vissel,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Thelma,
Yes.
Gilroy.
Yes.
Well, Oscar, Oscar, you vote too, right? Thank you. So, yes, and it's a yes from me on those motion. So, look like we have a yes vote. Is there any opposed? All right, then the yes is adopted, carry. So, so then,
Chair?
yes. Sharon?
Sorry, looks like we just have a public commenter.
Oh.
And he raised his hand, so.
Public comment. I'm sorry. Yeah, please invite them. I'm sorry, we didn't see it from here.
Yeah, I think he just raised his hand. So.
Good evening.
Yeah, please speak. Thank you for joining us today.
Sure. Good evening, Madam Chair. Good evening, all the city council members, all the commissioners, and as well as the city staff. I think as a part of a community advisory commission, what I would like to the all commissioner as well as community advisory commission chair to consider is that the strengthening the relationship between all the multicultural people and the diversified community available within diversified community residing within the city of Milpitas is very important. Also, as a part of a community advisory commission, it is important to acknowledge that what different culture of people are out there. Also, what are the religious site that has been out there in the city of Milpitas. What are the particulars that is required to develop a right set of a culture within the city of Milpitas, so that the city of Milpitas become a diversified environment, as well as strengthening the relationship by doing a memorandum with the memorandum at the national as well as the international level, and establishing the sister community cities between city of Milpitas and different cities at the international level would be really helpful, ma'am. Again, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you for your comment. Your points well taken. Thank you very much. Sharon, is that the only public comment?
Correct, that was it.
Okay. So Sharon, you heard that we at a point where we already vote. We have a motion that carry and adopted tonight. Number one is supporting the event, and number two is to work with the city and the MUSD on this event. At the two entity will have to further discuss about the detail of the event and how it would be organized.
Yes, got it. Thank you.
Yep. Well, Vice President Norwood, you have any comment, any thought after we vote?
Thank you. I appreciate the public comment. I appreciate all the different positions or the different perspectives that the commission has brought together, and your leadership in saying that, I want this to go well. I want it to really mean something to the community. And if we're going to be involved, that it is going to be a community and a leadership based effort. And I appreciate all of the commissioners who were interested if the city does approve of wanting to be on the task force, because that will be extremely valuable as a part of the process as well. So again, thank you all for your votes and your thoughtful discussion.
Thank you, Chris, so much for joining us tonight. Thank you, and we look forward to the next step in a near future.
Absolutely.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Happy holiday to all, because I know that we won't meet again until January this year because the COVID. So we didn't have a small party among ourselves, and we used to every year. I know it has been difficult for many of us, but I wish you well, safe, and happy holiday and New Year as well. Oscar, I'm sorry, you raised your hand. Oscar, you are muted.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to mention that please, any maybe this goes to Sharon or Robert. I think he left. Any decision that is being taken by the city to let Chairwoman Van Lantron to know so she can or give it to us. So because we're not meeting in January, so that means that we're not meeting until January, so it's going to take for a while. So if any decision that is being made to keep us informed, to see if there's a need from us to whatever is needed from us.
Oscar, thank you so very much. And I'm almost forget because we don't meet until January. But then I would like to remind all of you that in January, we also have to vote and vote for the new chairperson of the commission. So I want each one of you to seriously think about taking the opportunity. I have served 2 times already. So I would love to step down and let other people take the opportunity to be chair of the CAC. And you know, with that, I know it's a little bit premature, but I want to thank all of you for the past year, the wonderful past year, regardless of us not meeting face to face most of the time. But over the year, we are friends, we are family. So I want to thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to lead the CAC over this past year and the year before. Thank you. And I will definitely vote for a new chairperson in January. So yeah, any one of you can step up. So thank you so much and have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
See
Happy
you.
holidays.
Thank you and good night.
January 6th. See
We
you
haven't
January
adjourned
6th.
yet. We haven't adjourned.
Yeah, I know. We have to make a motion.
Yes, and Sharon is talking. Sharon wants to say something.
Sharon, yes.
No. Yeah, I was just saying, yes, we have item 11, which is adjournment.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
We just get there. We got so excited. So I would like
Motion
to have
to
a motion.
adjourn.
Thelma, did you see something?
Yes, I motion to adjourn. Yes.
I'll second it.
Motion
This
to
is
adjourn.
Vishal. This is
Gladly.
Vishal. I'll second it.
Thank you so very much. I know we all have no opposition, so no opposed. Thank you so very much.
Happy
Good night.
holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays. Bye.
Take
Have
care.
a great
Stay
holiday.
safe.
Happy holidays.
Thank you so much.
January 6th. See you
Vice
then.
President
Bye.
Norwood, thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
Happy holiday.
Thanks.